Assemblywoman Llamatakis. I get it right.
Good afternoon, Chancellor.
Good afternoon, Assemblywoman.
Nice to have you here in Albany
with us. It's a pleasure to be here.
I do want to continue the dialogue started by Senator Flanagan regarding the bus issue. It's my understanding that yesterday there was a meeting that took place at Gracie Mansion that involved the union and the bus companies. However, there was no one from the mayor's office present. Why?
Again, we're not a party to the agreement. The agreement between the union is with the bus companies themselves. Part of their collective bargaining responsibility is to work it out with those companies that employ the workers. And as the mayor indicated, that we would host and have a facility available to them to sit down and talk. They selected a mediator, Judge Milton Mullen, to be the mediator. And then they left there, my understanding, without any type of agreement as far as next steps are concerned. We're not directly involved in this. I mean, our role is to provide the money out to the companies, and the companies have the relationship with their respective unions. As you know, these are not employees of New York City at all. These are employees who work for the bus companies themselves, and that's why the city is not a part of this discussion, nor should we be a part of this discussion.
Well, I mean, I disagree. I understand that they're not city employees, but they do. This has a tremendous impact on all your students.
I totally agree with you.
And you really should be part of that discussion, at least providing some sort of leadership on behalf of the mayor, either the mayor yourself, to try to resolve this issue, because it's impacting, as you said, I believe 180,000 students. Is that correct? 152,000
students. I mean, so just again, take a step back. Prior to the strike, I met with the president of 1181, and 1181 president basically said to me that the only way they would not strike if the EPP, the Employee Protection Provision, is put back in the bid. I said we can't do that, and I've been very clear about that and very consistent about that, both in public as well as in private as well, in discussions. And that was his demand. And so I did meet with him, and so I've been very clear. My staff have met with him and his staff as well. And so, again, we don't play a direct role in the negotiating between the bus companies and their respective unions. That's their role to do that. But we're always open to talk. I know that Mr. Mullen, Judge Mullen, quite frankly, has talked to City Hall since the meeting, and will always be in communication. But as far as being direct party to any type of agreement or labor discussions between the companies and the union, we're not a party to that.
Following yesterday's meeting, both parties had said that they believed the mayor should be present. Why do you think that is?
Well, they're trying to use the mayor as a foil in this regard, and the mayor nor I should be a part of this discussion. This is something for them to work out. What we have done is the responsible thing for the first time in 33 years is to let out a request for bid for potential new companies as well as existing companies to bid on routes, and then we'll be releasing another request for bid in the future as well. It's not just a cost-saving measure, but it's also an efficiency on how we can make the route system better and have new companies respond and come into New York City to do business. What we did last year for the first time is we released a bid for pre-K bus service, and as a result of that bid, we were able over a 5-year period of time moving forward to save $95 million that will benefit the system. This is larger, and we don't know what the projected savings will be, but as a result of competition and having new companies bid, there's an incentive for people to be as competitive as possible, and what had prevented companies from doing this before, as well as prevented us from doing it, was the EPP provision. We are no longer, by law, able to do that as a result of the Court of Appeals decision, and goal is to make sure we have a competitive bid out in place for companies to respond to. They have a deadline until the 12th of February to respond.
Since the strike began, you had mentioned about 86 routes are online right now. Do you know? Do you have
no,
the breakdown?
86 new ones today. So each day we've been adding more.
So how many
and more.
is there currently?
Altogether, I think we're up to roughly 2,800 routes out of 7,700 routes. So roughly a third, give or take, of the routes.
Do you have a breakdown by borough?
I don't have that here, but I'd be glad to give you the breakdown by borough. I mean, the
that.
major boroughs, most of the route gains have been in the special ed area. So again, we've seen a significant increase in the number of routes in special ed buses, and with the special ed needs, the majority of the routes are either in Staten Island or in Queens and spread throughout the city, but the heavier concentration are in Queens and Staten Island. So, for example, back on the 22nd of January, we had 1,533 routes in special ed. As of the 28th, we have 1,714 in total. As of the 22nd of January, in total, we had routes of 2,539. Now we have 2,725. So we've been adding routes more and more. We've been able to increase the number of students who are special needs in school. Yesterday's number was up to 67.5% of our students, and that's compared to a normal average of 83%. So even though that's going up each day, it's still not acceptable to where it should be, and we're doing more to make sure we get those students in. And the best way to get those students in, quite frankly, is for more buses to be on the road, and for more buses to be on the road, 1181 really needs to get back to work.
Has the city experienced a lower attendance due to the strike?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, in the overall attendance numbers yesterday for all elementary and middle schools throughout the district was 92%, and that compares to an average of roughly 90%. And that's overall. Where we're showing the loss, again, is in our special needs route, our District 75, and the average has been 83.9, and yesterday it was 67.5. And with that population, again, especially with the medically fragile students, that's also subjected to the weather as well. So some parents are both finding more ways to get their children to school, but also with the medically fragile students, some of them are so weather dependent that may impact attendance. But we've been able to increase, God bless you, the number of special needs students attending school.
Okay, that really concludes my questioning. I just do want to issue another plea for the city to please get involved. I guess we need the mayor to show leadership on this issue. We need to get this resolved as soon as possible, because as you said, we have about 150,000 students that are affected. And as you know from your experience on Staten Island, we do lack public transportation. As you remember during
I remember
our
very
battle,
well. Yes, I do.
For 7th and 8th grade buses, we have Senator Lanza and Assemblyman Cusick here, who led the charge in that effort. And so you're very familiar with our circumstances on Staten Island, South Brooklyn. So please, if you could pass that message back to the mayor, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, again, to be very clear, I mean, the mayor and I, again, are in alignment around this particular issue, and so there isn't any daylight whatsoever in that we don't belong in the negotiating room with the union and the bus companies. They need to resolve this. Our role is to put a bid out, which we've done for the first time in 33 years, that hopefully will drive savings to the system, savings we can push into our schools directly, and to create an environment of competition within the bus system within New York City for our yellow buses, and hopefully we'll see the benefit of that. But I hear what you're saying. I'm very familiar with the issues of Staten Island, but all of our schools as far as the importance of yellow busing.